Hi everyone, I hope you're doing okay. I just wanted to talk a little bit today. I got some things on my mind. I'm 72 now. When I was in my early 20s, I bought a series of books. There was four of them. It's called Crime and Punishment, and it went back in history of all different types of crimes that people committed and the punishment that they put out. And I remember it was astounding, some of the things that they did and some of the things that were given out for punishment. I also used to work in a mental hospital in my 30s for 2.5 years. It was built in 1860, and there were three. There was a hospital, and then across the street was nurses' quarters, and there were three tunnels that went underground. The third one, every 20 or 30 feet, had an indentation in the wall where they used to chain. I was going to say prisoners, but they used to chain patients up before they had the medications that they do today, and it was terrible. It was scary to walk down there, and you could see in the walls where they had taken out things that they had cemented in for their arms and their legs. Bad. But up in the attic, this was a huge hospital. It was first built for rich people, and that got overtaken by a lot of other people that weren't rich. But up in the attic, they used to have the libraries and the books of all the daily records. And I used to go up there quite often and read the reports on the patients. And back then, they were classified as imbeciles and idiots. It was terrible. And but it was interesting to read the patient's actions and their behaviors. I used to go up there a lot. It was amazing. Now, getting to my belief system, I honestly believe most people who are in mental institutions or jails aren't there because of what they did themselves. It was what was in them. It wasn't a mental, I don't believe it was a mental illness. I believed it was an entity or an icon or a being of some sort of an influence that might have been from this world or another world, another dimension. I don't know. I went to a conference one time up in Rangeley, Maine, where Edgar Mitchell, John Mack, and another guy, an astrophysicist, were giving a lecture, a weekend lecture. Edgar Mitchell was one of the Apollo astronauts, and John Mack was a noted Harvard psychiatrist. And I talked to him for about maybe 20 minutes. Real interesting guy. And I told him, I said, you don't look like a Harvard psychiatrist. And he said, thank God. And his job, Harvard paid for him to go around the world and to interview people who were, excuse me, abducted by aliens. And John Mack was a pretty smart guy, very interesting man. I don't usually talk about aliens that much, but I have had a lot of experience in prayer asking my guides to help people to clear out entities, beings, and archons. And they're pretty real. Now, these 18 children that got killed in Texas, Jesus, that shit hit me so hard. It's like they were innocent angels in the fourth grade. That's not human behavior to kill them. I don't believe it was a mental illness. I believe it was an entity or entities of some kind. Those of you who've been involved with energy work and prayer for a while, I think you know what I'm talking about. And those of you who are new, you might think I'm crazy and off, and that's okay. Because when I was new, I didn't believe in any of this stuff. But I've been doing this over 26 years, and I've helped out in prayer a lot of people that got cleared of entities, beings, archons, and so on. And I've had some very interesting conversations with other people who've had these experiences of helping others with energy work and prayer. And we're all in agreement. They're real. But there's not going to be any healing today, but I'm going to ask in your own way if you wouldn't mind praying for those 18 children. It's beyond belief. When something like this happens, it affects the whole world. The news spreads today. And I can't fathom how the parents are feeling over this. Yeah. So once again, in your own way, could you take a little time out to pray for them and their families and everybody else who was affected? And that's it for today. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.